Who that nation? How you doing? Come on in. Take a seat. Sit back, relax, put your feet up, grab a drink, and let's talk Saint football. Y'all know what time it is. Time to keep it real. Let's go. Family, family, family. It's a big night tonight, family. We have two brothers coming through to talk to us about their squad, their team, the team they love, the team they cover. This just happens to be the team that we will do battle with this Sunday in historic Lambeau Field. First up, family, let's welcome to the show from the forgive me, here we go. From tapping the keg sports, capping, excuse me my words, tapping the keg sports. Man, how you doing?
Good. I'm good. How's it going? How's it going? No, it's all right. It's you got it. It's a little, tapping the keg. I've said it so many times that it gets used to it. Appreciate you having me. Looking forward to this matchup this weekend. I'm excited for it.
Me too, man.
First home game for the Packers for the season. I'm actually going to be there, lucky enough.
Okay,
making the trip up about 2 hours north of where I live currently.
Okay. Let's first of all thank you for being here, taking time out your busy schedule. We really appreciate it. Look, we're gonna have some fun tonight, man. Family members, look, they go do what they do. You understand?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But,
I just
yes, sir.
Before you get going, I just want to get it out of the way. None of us are mad that Taysom Hill is on the Saints. There is seen that a little bit on Twitter this week where they're like, oh, there's like that we're jealous that you have Taysom Hill. I promise you, Mike McCarthy would not have known how to use Taysom Hill in 2017. Aaron Rodgers would not have vibed with Taysom Hill. Probably.
Oh, no, coming off the field, no.
So we're okay without the Taysom stuff. But no, I'm really excited to talk Packer football with you, and look forward to having a good conversation about it.
Let's do it. But that's not it, family. That's not it. Coming on next is Mr. Bernie Bango. Mr. Bango is host of Big Cheese Sports. Big Cheese Sports. Come on in.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, great. Thanks for having me. You can hear me all right?
Yes, sir. I can hear you
right
fine,
on.
Man.
Righteous, yeah. So thanks for having me, man. Love the Packers. This is a Saints team. It looks a lot different with Carr back there. I'm curious to see how this goes. Packers opener. Like you said, I host Big Cheese Sports. I'll also be debuting on the Pro Sports Fans app tomorrow. And there, my show will be called Cheesehead Till I'm Dead. And I will co-host that with Robin Adams. But hey, thanks for having me here tonight. This is my first PSF experience here.
Oh, man, listen, thank you for being here, man. I'm the newest member of the PSF family, man. I'm excited about it, man. And hey, man, let's grow together. Let's have fun together. And again, also, thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to be here. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. I got to greet the family. Who's in the building? Trail 504. How you doing? Come on in. Eric Howard, how you doing? Come on in. The True 726, how you doing? Come on in. Uncle Jerry, Derek L, Mikey, #1 Saints fan, Derek Tyler, everybody who's here. Y'all already know the doors are open. Come on in. Well, gentlemen, let's get to it. This Sunday is the season opener, home opener for the Green Bay Packers. You guys come into this contest this week 1-1. But one might say that you should be coming into this game 2-0, and it should be a battle of two undefeated teams. Bernie, I'm going to start with you. What is your thoughts on that?
I think you hit the nail on the head. Packers have played 7 good quarters of football, and then we just kind of fell flat in that fourth quarter against the Falcons game. They Bijan, is that the first time I heard his name? It was Bijan, and now I'm hearing it's more like the mustard. Is that Bijan? But
Bijan, I'm in Texas. It's Bijan.
Okay, and man, that kid is the real deal.
Yes,
he might be by the end of the year, we might be saying he's the top running back in the league. He chewed us up and spit us out, but that's our run defense. It seems like for the last decade, sadly. But yeah, I'm feeling good about it. That home opener. I hope the crowd is loud. I hope we come in focused,
yes,
and I hope Jordan Love, man, continues. It's a great start, and I think he can only get better. There's some areas of improvement for him, and this is gonna be a good game. We wish it was 2-2-0 teams, but this is still a big deal early in the season. And I see that the NFC South, you got 3 teams down there right now, 2-0. Right. So you guys got your work cut out for you too, because
yeah, we do.
You're off to a hot start down there in the South.
Yeah, we do. No one around the country saw this coming. Everyone thought the NFC South would be the weakest division once again, but like I said, no 2 years are the same. No 2 years. Nikkei, what's your thoughts, my brother? I got it right that time.
There you go. It just takes a little time. Yeah. Here's the thing. I think it's okay that we're 1-1. I think that's a game that probably in November, December, with how young this team is, they probably win that game, right? That's just a young team. Sometimes just it's not going well. It went off the rails for Jordan Love. The Atlanta controlled the ball all throughout that fourth quarter. I don't think it's anything to worry about. I think this is a big week, obviously with Detroit on deck on Thursday. Not that we're looking past New Orleans, but it's a big week to just establish it. Get to that mini bye at 3-1 would be great. And they just need to take care of business. And hopefully the pressure of Lambeau doesn't get to Jordan Love. I imagine he's going to be a little juiced up for that first quarter, second quarter into that game. And I just hope he settles in. That Saints defense is opportunistic. I'm a little concerned about that, as this will be the most veteran-led defense that the Packers have faced now in the first 3 weeks of the season.
Got you. So right now, what stands out to you, gentlemen, as the most glaring need for this team, for the Packers?
It's just that everybody needs to get healthy. We're dealing with a lot of injuries right now. And with the game on Thursday, I think it's really curious to see what they do is if they do play all their guys. Christian Watson mispracticed today, but apparently that was on purpose. They wanted 2 days on, 1 day off. Aaron Jones started to take some reps today. It's like we haven't seen Jordan Love with a full deck, and he's still doing all right. Still good. Right. But it's like, and then the whole Bakhtiari thing with him battling, and it seems like he's not going to play. And Elton Jacobs has a sprained MCL. So there's a lot of injuries early on. And I think that's just a bummer because we haven't seen that full version of the Green Bay Packers that we hoped when the season began.
How about you, Bernie?
This Saints defense, man, is the real deal. This is, as Tapping the Keg was saying, right? This is one of the most experienced defenses we've faced. Watching some highlights, I'm really worried with, with DB and Jenkins out on the offensive line for the Packers, Granderson. And, he's had 2.5 sacks, I think, to start the season off with. So that's my concern, is protecting Love, because if we give him time, he has shown he can go through his progressions and he can find the open guy. It's our run defense, that's something I'm usually worried about. But Kamara's out, and then did I see one of our former running backs, Jamal Williams? He's out as well.
Yeah, he went out Monday night.
And I love Jamal, man. I miss him in Green Bay, and I've always cheered for him when he was with the Lions, and now he's with the Saints. He's just a stand-up dude. But so I'm not concerned about the run game as much. But I also like the Joe Barry. He's gonna determine whether the Packers win this game or not. And the offensive line play of the Packers. Those are the two big things for me. Is Joe Barry going to have this defense ready to go against Carr and the Saints? Carr's going to be distributing the ball to whoever. And it's like, man, that's all we got to do is stop the pass. Is what I feel like. But the offensive line for the Packers, that's got me worried because of those injuries. So those are the two big things that have me worried here for Sunday. But Packers, this is a very winnable game, I think for the Packers if they play their cards right.
Got you. Now, on the Saints side, offensive line, which is really a concern around the entire league, is a concern for the Saints. Right now, we're not dealing with any injuries. Thank God, because the last 2-3 years, we have been decimated by injuries, not only to the offensive line, but to your signal caller. We lost Jameis Winston last year after week 1, though they played him for 2 weeks after that. Then we had to go through an entire season with Andy Dalton, and that's enough said with that. It was hard last year. Let me just say it was hard. But looking at this game this Sunday from the Saints side, no, we will not have Elvin. He will be, matter of fact, after this game, he will come off his suspension, and so he will be back for the division opener against Tampa Bay next week. Jamal Williams went out Monday night, hamstring. They're going to rest him for a couple of weeks, get that taken care of. So our 3rd round pick from TCU, Kendre Miller, he will get the call, along with Tony Jones Jr., who scored 2 touchdowns this previous night, and the X Factor, Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill in the second half carried the ball. He averaged 8.9 yards a carry on 9 carries for 75 yards. The run game, when Taysom Hill touches the ball 8 or more times, the Saints are like 9-1. Taysom Hill is the X factor. He's all over the place. He's at quarterback. He's at running back. Actually, they did something this past Monday that we never seen. They put Taysom at running back, and they actually pitched the ball, did a toss play to him. And Taysom Hill with a head of steam coming downfield is scary, man. And of course, the quarterback power. They're starting to open that package up a little more with him, letting them pass a little more. But I would think the key for the Saints is going to be the offensive line. You can have all the talent you want, but if those 5 up front are not a cohesive unit, they're not on the same page, nothing works. And week 1, Derek Carr was running for his life. Week 2 is a little better, but it was still bad. In the second half, we were able to get a push to start getting the running game going. I think we rushed for 134 yards this past week. So I think if the Saints are able to establish the run, because what is a quarterback's best friend? A running game. So we're able to establish the run, then that gives Carr the opportunity to go through his progressions and pick whoever he wants. Michael Thomas is back. You have to account for him. Chris Olave, budding superstar. Rashid Shaheed, undrafted. Now he's on the scene. Everybody's starting to know his name. He's a beat. We still have Jawan Johnson. Many picked him as a breakout player this year. And we brought the old guy back. The old boy. Jimmy's still here. And everyone's clamoring to see him use more in the red zone. And we also have Foster Moreau. So the Saints are going to be fine in that area. It's going to come down to, like every game, the line of scrimmage. Can you win the line of scrimmage or stalemate? So with that being said, family, let me ask y'all this. Who's the most impactful player this Sunday for the Packers? Who has to be the most impactful player for the Packers this Sunday?
I think it starts with the pass. You mentioned the offensive line, and the Packers right now, 61 pressures, tied for the NFL league. Average is around 35. They've been really getting to the quarterback, and Derek Carr has struggled when he's been under pressure. And that's the whole thing. So I would say it would be, Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary, getting to that quarterback and really making sure that they make the life miserable. And it's kind of funny that the Saints are struggling with their offense. They have so many first-round picks. Like they have Ramczyk, Cesar Ruiz. They have a lot of talent, exposed talent on that offensive line. It's kind of the same thing with the Packers defense. They have all these first-rounders, and right. So it's weird how that works, right? Where it's like we have all this talent. We're supposed to have all this talent, and it just somehow doesn't all fit together.
Doesn't match.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So my answer would be Smith and Gary on the edges there.
Smith and Gary. Okay. What about same for you?
I'm gonna stay in the same vicinity. I'm gonna say Kenny Clark.
Okay.
Because when Kenny gets disruptive there at the point of attack, right on the interior line, that makes Smith and Gary's job easier, right? They're concerned about Kenny Clark pushing through the middle there. Kenny's also he can also really disrupt that running game too, pushing his man in the backfield, plugging up those lanes with his big body and pushing everyone around. The dude is a beast. And when he plays at that high level, he makes everyone's job behind him and on the edges easier. So my guy I'm looking at is Kenny Clark. He's going to be disruptive because, he makes pass rushers' job easier, and he can clog up those running lanes between the tackles. So Kenny Clark's my boy.
Kenny Clark. So, okay. And taking a look at your leaders right now, Coach, let me just say this. I watched Jordan Love play this preseason, and I was impressed. I thought he acquitted himself well, and through 2 games, I think the young man has acquitted himself pretty well. Now, his passing completion percentage is 55.8%. He's averaging 198 yards per game. His rating is 118. Looking at Jordan Love, what do you think the ceiling is with Jordan Love right now?
That's a good question. I think it's right. It's kind of like a little bit of above average quarterback. I don't want to put him like as a top 5 guy, as like a guy who's gonna be like this like premier MVP level quarterback. I think just as long as he's in, like, people don't really like Dak Prescott. He's a divisive guy, but a Dak Prescott, even Pack fans probably don't want to hear Kirk Cousins, right? But like Kirk Cousins without the turnovers or choking in primetime, like if he's at that level, like that's fine. That can win a lot of football games, and maybe he does elevate to that next level. I think Matt LaFleur has kept it very simple for him so far. One of the things I would like to see is that they take that restrictor plate off, that they just let the red dragon kind of go, this old school, like take off the restrictor plate, like let that thing fly and let it go. It might not happen this week, might not happen against the Lions. They might wait till after the bye, and then they're like, all right, we're really going to see it. So I think it's still unknown, but I think he could be an above average quarterback for this Packers team.
So is there a chance Aaron Jones plays this Sunday?
I think there's a strong chance. He's been seen more active this week in Green Bay, and he was at practice? No, he wasn't at practice.
He was limited today. Mm-hmm.
Limited today, and you just never know with Green Bay because sometimes the guy will sit it all week and then he'll suit up. But I'm hoping he does because the offense is completely different. It opens up more. I have faith. I try to keep my faith in AJ Dillon, our RB2, but there was a couple plays late in the last week where Dillon just came up short, and it was kind of him tripping over his own feet. So Jones needs to come back, and I think there's a good chance that he's keeping it limited at practice this week, so he can be a go.
Right. So we see so far in the season, Dillon's got 28 carries for only 74 yards.
Yep.
And averaging 2.6. Wow.
Yeah, he was 13 carries and 19 yards total against the Bears 2 weeks ago. It was rough. It's been a really rough two sort of weeks, and last year was tough for Dillon. He does get better as the year goes on. The stats kind of prove that out. Mm-hmm. But you kind of need to be good all the time. Like if you're seen as the former second round pick, you need to give more, and hopefully maybe gets on to Lambeau's turf and it turns around for him. And maybe LaFleur said it in one of the press conferences, like, I have to scheme it better for AJ Dillon. So if they know AJ Dillon's the guy this week again, maybe we see some different run plays that we haven't really seen yet in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Right. So the problem with the run game with AJ Dillon, would you say it's more AJ Dillon, or is it a combination of the blocking he's getting up front and his decision making as a ball carrier?
I think it's more on Dillon. I feel like he's a magnet to the defense. He seems to run right into guys all the time. Now, he falls forward a lot because he's a big dude. Right. But he doesn't make guys miss really. And he's I think he missed, it was a third and one he missed, and it was a very clear hole where he needed to go to get that first down. And it's just like, at your size and strength, if you're not picking up our 3rd and 1, it's like, what are you doing here? What is your purpose here? Because that's why he's here, is to get us those short yard, pick up those short yardage first downs or touchdowns. And
correct.
I think it's more on him. He doesn't have that same killer instinct. It seems like, he recently married and I think has a kid. I know my old man, when he coached me in my boxing career, whenever I had a girlfriend, he said that I was softer. And I think that, I don't know if that's true, but when you get married and you have a kid, you settle down, some of that anger, you probably don't run as angry,
Right.
And so I could just be making crap up in my head right now, but that's what I kind of feel like, man. I love Dylan. He's a great guy. He's great for the city of Green Bay. He's great for the state of Wisconsin. Everybody loves him.
Right.
He doesn't play angry, man. He's just like, he's a workout monster, and we just hope that somebody awakens that beast inside of him.
Well, I hope it's not this week. Let me just say that. But let me ask you, gentlemen, this. What is the strength of the Packers defense? Would it be the linebackers core, the secondary, or the D-line?
Be the front seven, the D-line.
D-line.
Front seven, D-line. I mean, Quay Walker, the second-year guy out of Georgia, he's really come on strong. He had 17 total tackles last week. 8 of them were solo. He really was, I think he graded out as a top guy on PFF last week. Okay. And he was there, and he's kind of starting to come on. He had some anger issues last year. He started to take up meditating, like really sort of kind of to that point about the beast. Like there's kind of too much beast going on with that. And yeah, Rashawn Gary's coming off an ACL tear. They've kind of had him on a pitch count. I think he can be a potential defensive player of the year when fully healthy. And so, yeah, that front seven is really the strength of the defense. And the thing that I think will carry the secondary also isn't bad, but I don't want to step on Bernie's toes there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, I got to agree with you there. It's that front seven. As much as I love Jair, as much as I love Rasul, you can't go to the defensive backfield because those safeties are just too much uncertainty there for me. Savage will look really great one play, and then he just looks absolutely lost the next play. But as well, as you're saying there, tapping the keg on our front seven, man, Van Ness, during the preseason, I was just it might take him some time. But in week 1, when he ran down Justin Fields and threw him like a rag doll, I was like, that's why that kid is here. And so he is just another piece of that front seven. We got Devontae Wyatt, year 2 guy out of Georgia. We got Carl Brooks, who was a late addition in the draft this year. There's just so much young talent in that front
Carl
seven.
Brooks, isn't that the young man from Bowling Green?
You got it, man.
Yeah. I was looking at that kid in the draft process, man. I like that kid a lot.
Yeah, and he made a fifth or sixth round, I think, and he made the roster with ease. I think he fell down that far because he was a Bowling Green guy. He was playing in that MAC conference. But that front seven, man, look out, because when they get hungry and they come after Carr, it could be a long day if we can get through that offensive line.
Gotcha. That's why I say the running game is going to be big in this game for the Saints to get Carr comfortable. Like I said, the first 2 weeks, he hasn't been comfortable. Week 2 last week, this past Monday against Carolina in the second half, because the Saints were able to establish the run. You can see he kind of he settled down, but he even said it in his press conference. And as I was watching the game, I say to a friend of mine, he's pressing. He wants to do good so bad for his teammates, for the city, for the state, for who that nation, that in the first, I think he's in his head. He's trying too hard. I mean, 2 weeks in a row, he's throwing 2 passes And he's taking credibility for him, but 2 weeks in a row, you've thrown 2 passes that you say were stupid. The one this past Monday was just dumb. So those are the kind of things that we must avoid. And also in the red zone. First half of that game, we're in the red zone, got in the red zone twice. We had to settle for field goals. We played the first 2 weeks, we played Tannehill. Great performance by the defense. The pressure on him all day. The secondary was locked down. Just an all-around great game by the defense, but offensively, we were only able to muster 1 touchdown after numerous trips inside the red zone. Again, this past Monday against the Carolina Panthers, same thing. First half, we should have won halftime up at least 14-3. Instead, it was 6-3. They tied the game. Then, of course, we pull away late. And then for some unspecified reason, late in the game, they decided to go to the worst defense in the history of football, which is the prevent defense, which prevents you most of the time from winning the game. And what was alarming about this, they were in the prevent and they were just letting the Panthers catch the ball and step out of bounds. Not one time did they tackle someone in bounds so they can use a timeout and let the clock keep running. And it shouldn't have came down to us having to recover an onside kick to win that game. Our young left tackle, Trevor Penning, will be making his full start. This would be his 3rd consecutive start. He only started 1 time last year. First game, man, I'm sure you guys have watched it all 22. It was rough for him. It was real rough. Last week saw some improvement from him. That's what you want to see. Each week you're looking to see improvement. So I saw improvement from the offensive line, but it's still not good enough. But what he is, he's a road grader. When it comes to run blocking, he is awesome. He's awesome right now. That is his strength. And so for me, what I would do in this game, I would come out and I would run behind him. I would build his confidence up. That way, look, let's get in 3rd and manageable. You want to be in 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 or less for this game. Because if we're in 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11, listen, those rushes, those edge rushers, they're going to pin their ears back and they're going to come. So I'm definitely looking for the Saints to get the ground game going and to slow up that pass rush screen game. So definitely looking forward to this game. Now let's talk about your receiving core. Right now, as I pull this up, family, who on this list would you say is your number 1 guy? I see Reed has the most targets.
So with Watson being down, it's probably Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs is Jordan Love's guy. They had a good connection really all throughout the offseason. They might have the same agent. They got drafted. They didn't get drafted together. Doubs obviously was a couple years younger, but he catches. He's a possession receiver. He had 2 touchdowns in the first game against the Bears. He's coming off a hamstring injury to start the year, but he drew 2 massive penalties in the game against Atlanta. He drew a 43-yarder, and then it might have been another 40-yard penalty. So like the stats might not show it in the game against Atlanta, but he was an integral part to what they do. And he's Jordan Love's guy in the red zone. That's Jordan Love's guy. And he looks for Romeo Doubs on a regular basis.
Okay. And right now, Doubs, 6 catches, 56 yards. And the first 2 touchdowns, as you say, mentioned, were against the Bears. He's averaging just under 10 yards of reception. So a young Michael Thomas, move the chain guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a guy you look for. Jaden Reed is really special too, a young guy, and he's 2nd-year guy out of Michigan State. He's a slot wide receiver. I was joking yesterday on my podcast, Having the Kick Sports, that if Aaron Rodgers had that guy last year and not old Randall Cobb, washed up Randall Cobb, might have been a little different of a year last year. I know Jaden Reed got drafted this year, but you get my point. And he also said at practice yesterday that the piss is going to be hot that the piss was hot, and that's been a tag that Matt LaFleur has used about noon games, that you have to have your piss hot. And Jaden Reed said that it's going to be for the noon start against the Saints.
Well, it better be boiling hot. And they better keep him away from number 23. I'm just letting you know. Right now, Marshawn Lattimore is on a mission. He's been on a mission all summer from OTAs. He feels disrespected by his rankings. People are overlooking him as one of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League. His goal this year is to be the best cornerback in the National Football League. And right now, he is playing out of his mind. Early in Marshawn's career, he was up and down. And what I mean about that was, if it wasn't a big name receiver, he wasn't up for it. Former defensive backs coach Aaron Glenn. Him and Eric Glenn, they will get into it a couple of times about that. But now the last 2 years, especially this year, remember Marshawn missed 10 games last year, and we missed him. And as soon as he comes back, he catches the game-sealing pick 6 against the Eagles, a game that no one saw us winning or having the opportunity to win. He is the difference maker on that defense. When he's on the field, he changes everything. We also have young Alontae Taylor, who came on last year in Lattimore's absence, acquitted himself real well, so much that it was a summer battle between him and Paulson Adebo to see who would be that corner opposite Marshawn Lattimore. Adebo held it down. Adebo is good. We let go Bradley Roby to get Alontae Taylor on the field. When the Saints drafted Alontae Taylor, that was the vision they had of Alontae Taylor being a slot. Now, he's going to have his growing pains now early in the season. But like I said, by the end of this season, I expect this young man, because of the talent he has and the work ethic he has, to become one of the best slot corners in the National Football League. The Saints have the top 3 corners on the field at the same time. And I haven't even touched on the great Demario Davis and Pete Werner, our 2 starting linebackers. These guys are just studs, man. Pete is a tackling machine. He gets his hands on you, you're going down. And Demario Davis is just that dude, man. He is one of the greatest linebackers in the history of the New Orleans Saints. The Saints this season, we overhauled our defensive front. We drafted Brian Bresee in the first round. Second round, we took Notre Dame edge Isaiah Foskey. His summer was bumpy. Toward the end of camp, he started to come on. He was active last week. With the loss of Peyton Turner now, he will be counted on. He will get his turn out there. He's basically played special teams. But Nathan Shepard was a guy that we signed early in the offseason process, D-tackle from the Jets. And when the Saints signed him, we had a lot of Jets fans saying, "You guys are going to love this kid. They're going to miss him." As a rotational piece, he was one of the top interior pass rushers last year, according to ESPN and PFF. Then we signed Carlin Saunders from the Green Bay Packers. The Kansas City Chiefs. Saunders, big, athletic. Both of these kids, they're light on their feet. They're quick. And then we took Brian Bresee from Clemson. If Brian Bresee is not injured the last year and a half in college, to me, Brian Bresee is a top 15 draft pick, or maybe a top 10. When this kid came out of high school, he was the number 1 prospect in the country. That defensive line has been awesome. And earlier you mentioned Carl Granderson. See, last year, a year before that, no one knew who Carl Granderson was outside of Who Dat Nation. But just in 2 weeks, this young man has shown the growth. Man, he's had a wonderful growth spurt in his ability to rush the passer. He still has work to do on setting the edge in the run game, but he's gotten stronger. He still has that speed. And since the season started, he has 2.5 sacks, numerous pressures. He stays in the backfield. Look, here's the reason Marcus Davenport isn't in New Orleans anymore. He beat out, listen, everybody Who Dat Nation know, I'm a big Peyton Turner fan, but You got to be healthy. He just can't stay on the field. He was having his best camp. He gets hurt in the first quarter again. Now he's out for the majority of the season. But that defensive front, man, has just been awesome. And of course, we got Tanoh Kpassagnon, who's the unsung guy up there. All Tanoh Kpassagnon does his job. Either in position or rushing as the interior. And then we got the future Hall of Famer, Cam Jordan, who's showing no signs of slowing down. And now, with Granderson on that edge, bringing the pressure, Foskey, and getting the interior pressure from Shepard, from Bresee, and from Saunders, he has been getting a lot of one-on-one blocking, and let's just say that's not wise. Cam is, he's just a hair away from a couple. Cam should have about 3.5 sacks right now. He's been wonderful to start the season. So they're going to put a lot of pressure on the Packers defensive offensive line in this game. Listen, if you guys can't run the ball, which is what the Saints want, they want to put the game in Jordan Love's hands and, hey, prove that you can beat us from the pocket. Dennis Allen, I'm looking for the matchup with your head coach and Dennis Allen, two of the best at what they do, offensively and defensively wise. So I think that's going to be a chess match in itself worth watching between those two. Man, I'm just looking forward to it, man. I think it's going to be a great game. The atmosphere, hey, it's Lambeau Field, so it's going to be a great atmosphere, man. So let me start tapping the kid. Give me a score position right now.
You're not gonna like it.
Of course, I understand.
I'm gonna say 24-16. I think the Packers get it done. I think that they'll get to Carr, force a couple turnovers. I am very curious to your point about the pass rush of the Saints, because Jordan Love has not dealt with that for the 2 weeks. And the Packers offensive line's good, but no Bakhtiari, no Jenkins.
Yeah.
And this is the first pass. Like, the Falcons can't rush anybody. They stink. They've stunk last year. They stunk again this year. I'm sure Saints fans, Who Dat Nation, doesn't hate me saying the Falcons stink. And then the Bears, we just, enough said. So it's like, that's going to be a real challenge. But 24-16 is the prediction. It'll be a great game, though. As I said earlier, I'm going to be in the building. I'm excited to be there. It should be an awesome environment. Excited to see Jordan Love's first start at Lambeau.
All righty. Bernie, what's your score prediction, sir?
That's pretty close to tapping the CAG. I got it. 2017 Packers. Saints get to keep their streak of holding their opponents to 20 points or less. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, this week, I think our front seven that we were talking about earlier is just going to get after it. With you guys missing your top two rushers there, I think we're able to slow that rushing game. And then, putting that pressure on Carr, you guys struggle offensively. Packers don't do anything huge or, anything super exciting offensively, but 20 points, I think, is going to get it done. So 2017, go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go. And then games where teams are pretty much evenly matched, special teams. Special teams will play a big factor in this game. Who can win the battle of field position and of course, the ultimate stat? You got to protect the ball. Either team could afford to give the other team a short field or extra possessions in this game. Listen, the team that executes best, the team that doesn't beat themselves as far as making bonehead penalties, I think will come out on top. And of course, I think it's going to be my black and gold. I think also it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be like 23-19. I just crazy score, I know, but I think it's going to be something like 23-19. Saints come out in a game which I think is going to be a dogfight, and I think it's going to be one of the better games, one of the better matchups this Sunday. Well, look, gentlemen, first of all, again, I want to thank you guys for being here. But here's what I want to ask you. If you guys do you guys have a few more minutes or you need to go?
I got a couple more minutes. I can hang
I
out.
got a few more minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What I like to do when I have guests, I like to put the open the lines up and let family members come in and ask you guys one question, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, family. I'm about to put the link in the chat. If you guys want to come in and ask tapping the Keg Sports a question, or ask my man Bernie a question, I'm putting the link in right now. Come on in and let's hey, remember, keep it respectful, fam. Keep it respectful. You know, ain't nothing but love, man. Ain't nothing but love. But listen, let me get that in there. Sorry, guys. There we go. All right, family. There we go. Link is now in. Anyone like to come on? Again, we're joined tonight. We're happy to be joined by Tapping the Keg Sports and Mr. Bernie Bango. These two gentlemen are Green Bay Packer content creators and followers of the Packers, and they cover the team. We want to thank them for coming on to spend some time with us this evening. Listen, you guys are family now. You're welcome back here anytime, man. Anytime.
Appreciate it.
All right. We got a score prediction. Anthony says 38 Saints, 6 Green Bay. All right.
Hey, isn't that was like the score the last time we played, right?
Yeah,
or something?
Yeah, Jacksonville. Right.
It was awful, man, down there in New Orleans that game.
Who that, Davis? How you doing? Come on in. You're live.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight?
Good,
brother.
Good.
So I got one quick question for the Packer Nation faithful. I'm hearing some mixed news about David Bakhtiari and his status for Sunday. What can y'all tell us, man? Is he supposed to be a full go for Sunday, or is he going to be like a limited snap count?
Bernie, you want to take this?
Everything I don't know, man. All I can say is it is hard to tell because I didn't really understand at first when we weren't expecting it when he said he wasn't going to play last week. I think if he's a go, he's going to go the whole time. I don't think it's like a limit. It's going to be a limited snap. It's going to be all or nothing. That's all I can really, maybe Tapping the Keg can add on to that.
I think it's just he has these knee flare-ups. He says that they happen, he wakes up in the morning, he's like, oh, my knee doesn't feel good. And he's not practicing and he's just trying to basically play football and that's it. And I don't think he's going to go. I think because they have the Lions game on Thursday, I could see maybe they say, hey, wait, see if you could play against the Lions, or wait till the game against the Raiders, which is in I think we get 11 days off in between that. Playing Monday.
Good call, man. I wasn't thinking about that short week.
And
that division game, Lions Thursday.
Right.
Good call.
This one matters. It's just as important, but the division matters just a little bit more because the Saints and us could be battling for playoff positioning at the end of the year. But I think that they might trust the rookie Rasheed Walker, or second-year guy Rasheed Walker out of Penn State. He was top recruit, and then he kind of had some behavioral stuff, and he fell to the 7th round. But he had a really good camp. He did okay in week 1 or week 2. We'll see how he does if he gets the nod in week number 3.
I kind of like Packers weapons right now. I think Jaden Reed showed y'all something last week against the Falcons because I kind of have the secondary being above average in the league right now. I also like Christian Watson going into his second year, and obviously you guys got Aaron Jones and the rookie Luke Musgrave. I kind of wanted him for the Saints when he was coming out of college. So is there like a hidden weapon that the league doesn't really know about yet that the Saints need to be aware of? Who's your hidden X factor for the Packers going into Sunday?
All right, my X factor. So if you've already named Musgrave, you already named Reed and Watson. We talked about Dobbs earlier. I personally am waiting for the Toure game, Samori Toure. This is a kid that has grinded his whole career He didn't get scouted much out of high school. He ended up at Montana State, and then he transferred to Nebraska for 1 year, and then he landed in the 7th round of the Packers, and he fought his way to be on the active roster for about half the season last year after spending some time on the practice squad. But this kid also has a connection with Love. He was the leading receiver for the Packers last preseason, so he's already connected with Love. He's got that chemistry, and if Watson is a no-go again this week, I'm expecting some more snaps for Toure. I think he's a guy that could kind of come out of nowhere and maybe grab 3 or 4 catches, 50, 60 yards and a touchdown. So Samori Toure, that's if Watson's a no-go this weekend, Toure, I'm hoping is that X factor, that hidden weapon.
I'll add Dontrevion Wicks as another wide receiver, 5th round guy out of Virginia. He caught a touchdown in the game against Atlanta. Another guy to keep an eye on is Emmanuel Wilson out of the backfield. He made the team, was an undrafted guy, and he had the most yards in preseason rushing. And if A.J. Dillon continues to struggle and there's no Aaron Jones, you could see Wilson maybe just getting the ball and them saying, well, let's try it out. Let's see if it works. Get him a couple snaps and see if that works.
All right, I got one more question for you guys, and I gotta go back because I'm on the job. As you guys know, Saints are 2-0. They've already made Ryan Tannehill look silly. They've made Bryce Young look like a rookie, but Jordan Love really isn't a rookie technically, even though this is his first official season starting for you guys. But what's a quality that Jordan Love possesses that a lot of people are kind of sleeping on?
I think it's just he keeps his composure. He's so good in that third down, 4th down. We didn't see that Atlanta struggle, but that was really, I think the Packers were a little more conservative than they needed to be. I was saying to Dolph earlier, they need to let the restrictor plate go. They need to let Jordan Love cook a little bit, because I do think that that's in him, and he doesn't necessarily get phased. There was a moment too where he was talking with Grady Jarrett, and we were just talking back at him, not afraid at all. So there's a lot of dogs on that Saints defense, but he's not going to be afraid and get chest to chest with a couple of them.
It's gonna be a good game. All right, guys, good talking to y'all. I gotta get back in here, get back on the clock.
All right,
Thanks for the questions.
Thank you. All right, next coming up, the one and only OG, but we call him Uncle Jerry. Uncle Jerry, how you doing? Come on in.
What's good, Dog 17? How you doing?
How you doing, my brother? Welcome to the show.
Likewise. What's going on, guest?
How we doing?
Hey, what's up, Jerry? Good to see you.
All right, good to see you too. I do have a question because I don't know a whole lot about these new Green Bay Packer players you got, but Jordan Love, one in particular. I mean, how well do you think he will go against this Saints defense that's been so dominant these last couple of weeks? How well do you think he'll do with these receivers that you got and these running backs that you got?
I think we're going to start with the ground game. As Delph pointed out, right, a quarterback's best friend is the running game. I'm really hoping that Aaron Jones is a go this weekend because we're going to get a full dose of Jones, Dillon, get that ground game going. And this year, we're seeing the unfiltered, I think, version of the MLF, the LaFleur offense, because I think Rodgers was kind of a filter from that.
Right.
And so I think we'll get that ground game, and then we've been prepping. This defense is the real deal. I think this is going to be this will be the biggest test of Love's early career here. But I think they're going to put him in positions to make throws he's comfortable with at first. But I'm hoping as the game goes on, as Tapping the Keg has been saying, they remove that restrictor plate, right? Let him cook a little. But I think when we first come out, it might look a little conservative to us, but I think it's going to be building that confidence, helping him find his rhythm, because this Saint defense is going to bring it. And so I think that's just kind of how it's going to go with Love is just kind of opening the playbook more as the game goes along.
I think one of the things that's going to help Jordan Love is Ryan Nielsen was on the Saints staff for a long time, was there last year. Now the Falcons defensive coordinator. Falcons played Carolina. The Saints have played Carolina. The only real difference is that Saints are rushing the passer a little bit more than what the Falcons are currently. So the Packers are going to have a lot of looks at what the Saints have done. And so there's going to be a little more of that comfortability. I just worry about some of the veterans, Lattimore, Davis, Cam Jordan. Those are guys, those veteran type players. That's really not what this young Packer team has seen. And I do worry, hopefully they do not let the emotions get the best of them. And, crafty veteran stuff starts happening and they kind of lose their, mojo and just keep the composure. That's going to be a huge thing, I think, for this young team.
I got you.
And you got another question, Jerry? You got another question?
Yeah, I do, but you can go ahead after me. You can go ahead.
No, go because I want to get another call in before they have to go.
Okay. I do have one more, and I'll jet out of here. On the other side, that how well you think your Green Bay defense gonna do with this kind of confused but good Saints offense? That because on the Saints side, the defense they doing their job, so they're doing an awesome job on the defensive side. But as you know, on the offensive side, they kind of with the offensive line and all that stuff. How well do you think your Packers defense gonna match up to this? Hopefully, getting better Saints offense from your perspective.
Well, I think the Packers pass defense. I hate to say it, we're gonna give up a few big plays. I'm sure one of them will result in a touchdown, but I also have a lot of faith in this front seven we were talking earlier. They're going to get pressure on Carr. They're going to make it tough on him. Van Ness, Smith, Gary, Clark, Brooks, Wyatt, Quay Walker, Devondre Campbell, right? These guys are going to control that trench. And I think Carr's going to ultimately throw another pick or two this game, and I got a feeling that's going to be the big deciding factor there is I got a feeling that when that turnover, that interception thrown by Carr comes, it's going to come at a pivotal time in the second half, and that's going to be because of the disruption, the chaos that this front seven of the Packers defense is going to bring.
I look at it and just I think Jair Alexander has to show up. Dolph mentioned Marshawn Lattimore about not showing up in certain games, and Jair did that last week against Drake London. He just did not really seem engaged with it. Hopefully against Olave, Mike Thomas, he'll be on Olave more than Thomas, but that he shows up for it and that he's ready to play. And I think that's pass rush is huge, but it's that secondary making sure that they are there and that they are present and can deal with that and not let Shaheed get a deep one on us. I think that's another thing that scares me with our safeties that are a little not great, and that they get something long on us early in this game and hit a big play early on.
Gotcha. I got you. Well, that's all the questions I have for you fellas. And Dog, thank you for having me on here. But I gotta leave you with one thing, and I'm gonna get out of here.
Yes, sir.
I was pulling for Green Bay on Sunday, but I already know what happened that day. I really wanted y'all to beat Atlanta.
I know. I'm sorry we couldn't bring it home.
I was pulling for y'all. Really.
I'm sorry. I know that rivalry runs deep, man. I know it's not it's a nasty one, more than I think some people give it credit for. It's a big time rivalry.
Yes, it is. It's just like with y'all in Chicago and us in Atlanta, so we know how it goes.
Yeah, no love lost, man. That's for sure.
No, sir.
All right, Jerry. Appreciate you, my brother, as always.
All right. Thank you, Dolph, and y'all have a good evening.
You too, my brother.
Jerry.
All right. JT, how you doing? Come on.
All right. Hey, Dolph, what's going on with you?
Doing good, my brother.
How's everything, fellas? All right.
Good.
How you doing, Green Bay faithful? How y'all doing?
Good. We're good.
Feeling optimistic. Feeling good.
Right. Well, look, I just got a couple of questions for y'all. And I know y'all saying Green Bay is going to win this weekend. But my question to you fellas, I have two of them, two-part questions. I want to ask you, what makes you think, that Green Bay is going to win? I just want to know what makes you think they're going to win. And next part to that is, to me, I picked winners pretty much like who have the better quarterback and who have the better defense, kind of, sort of, and front line. But you guys answer that for me. What makes you think that Green Bay going to pull this out? Do you think Jordan is better than Carr? Do you think y'all defense is better than our defense? Just explain that for me.
Yeah. I think first of all, JT, I am an unabashed homer. So I rarely ever will pick the Packers not to win.
Right.
I'm kidding. But honestly, I think this Saints defense is good. I think there's a lot of talent there, but Tennessee's offense, Carolina's offense, like, are these the best offenses that we're seeing in the league? No, I think the Packers, even though they struggled at the end of that Atlanta game, they've put up 24 and 31 points respectively. They had the pick 6, so that was where they got 38. So they've put up points. They put up points in preseason. They are scoring a lot, and I think that's part of the reason why. It's not necessarily that Love is better than Carr. I think they're kind of on the same playing field. I just think that being at home, I think you're gonna get Carr to force you, as Bernie pointed out, I think there's going to be a couple turnovers, and I think that they'll get more short fields than New Orleans will. And it's kind of where how I net out on the pick.
Right. Well, you did say you're a homer, but I understand.
And I'm the same way. I'm a bit of a homer too, but like this game is the flip of the coin. And when it comes to games where you're flipping a coin, I'm just going to pick the Packers, man. I'm just like, well, shit, man. Like, I'm just going to pick my team because it could go either way. But yeah, I think Love, he's going to make some more plays with his feet, right? Carr doesn't really make those plays with his feet. Is kind of an old timer in the NFL sense. But as it comes to the defenses, the defense is Saints secondary, I would say is superior. The Packers front seven is loaded with talent, and we don't know. We haven't seen them at their full potential yet. And it just being a home opener too, we haven't played it at home yet, so I think our guys are going to be a little extra juiced. And and we're coming off a tough loss, and so I'm hoping that there's like that character in that locker room, right? When you're coming off a tough loss like that, you just can't wait to get back on that field and smash someone. And I think we have some guys on that defense like that are going to be out there. We're playing just some tenacious defense because they're like, man, we gave it up last week, and that's why I'm going with the Packers is because I'm hoping that they're hungry to get back to it in front of the home crowd for the first time this year.
Well, the home openers don't really faze me too much because we just beat someone with a home opener last week, and they say we couldn't beat a rookie quarterback, and we put that down. Now, my thing is with Green Bay and with the other teams that we've beat already, if the Saints go in there and stop Green Bay that doesn't have a running game, just go stop that, we'll beat Green Bay. We stop the run right there, we're going to eat. And this is something we got. We didn't have it last year, but we have it this year. And plus the turnover factor. If we +2 in the turnover, even +1, we win. So I ain't going to say I'm a homer. I'm going to be real about it. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to tell you the Saints. Yeah, I'm saying the Saints will win because of that reason, the having, like y'all just said, y'all talked about it yourselves, the back end of I think we have the best secondary in the league right now. Last week, no one didn't want to draw on Marshawn Lattimore. And when they did, he picked them off. So they chose to go the other way. And then our other cornerback was doing the same. So, I really don't think it's going to be a close game. And I don't want to spur y'all hopes, but you're supposed to keep hoping, you're supposed to feel that way. But I think the outcome of that game, yeah.
I'm just telling you, I'm gonna be there. I've only seen 2 losses in my life at Lambeau. I go to about a game a year. I've seen 2 losses. One when Rodgers was
3 straight, yo.
Once when Rodgers wasn't playing, and one inexplainable game against the Colts. So I'm gonna say, it might be.
Yeah. But you know them days you're talking about is Rodgers and Favre them days. That was some nice days, but man, you can't. The way it is, you can't dream no more. And I know we don't have Drew, but I still think we have an established quarterback, because the only thing we need a quarterback to do with this offense is just methodical ball play down the field. That's all you have to do. Just play within yourself. You don't have to turn the ball over. If you got a pass rush,
right,
throw the ball out of bounds or throw it at the defensive man's feet. I mean, anything. Yes, sir.
Love you, fam. Let me get some more of the family members in before they get on both you and me.
All right.
Let's get
well, I'm finished. I'm finished. All right, I'm finished. But
you can stay on up.
Yeah, y'all just have a good time, man. And I hope everything work out for y'all Sunday.
Good luck.
Good luck, JT.
All righty. Oh yeah.
The right. You got the flow, my brother. Come on in.
Gentlemen, how are you?
We're good. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, how are you, man? It's good. It's an honor to be on here with you guys. So, welcome and come on in. I guess my question is, I've been listening to the talk recently, and I've been looking at you guys' injury report, and how healthy are you guys? And because I can understand what the injury report states, but we're talking about full quarters of football. And asking you guys, do you think that even with what your injury report states, do you think you guys can sustain for 4 quarters of an aggressive pounding football? Because from what I understand about my New Orleans Saints, you got to bring your hard hat and your time card, because you're going to go to work for 4 quarters. And are you guys ready for 4 quarters of pounding football? And what I mean by that is, I understand how you feel about your front 7, but you got to understand, I have a front 4 that is as much disruptive as your front 7. That means I can drop 8 in coverage. So I'm just asking, are you ready? Or can Love sustain? Or can your injury-prone guys sustain 4 quarters of a beating?
Listen, it's gonna be fun, and I think that they will be able to withstand it. They're young guys. They can physical. They can make sure that it's there. I think they're going to be ready. They're going to match that intensity. I said earlier, they have to keep their composure though. I think it won't be surprising if we see a couple personal fouls, couple just guys getting into it and jostling. Like if you could bet that Mike Thomas and Jair Alexander get into some sort of altercation, that bet's off the board. That you take, because that's going to happen. And I think they're going to be ready. I think they are going to be ready. I think they've prepared for it. I hope getting the Saints on a short week, second road game, that will also play into it and help out.
Right.
I think these guys are ready. I know everyone was distracted by the Aaron Rodgers drama or the Aaron Rodgers saga this offseason. But for the true Packer backers, what we really saw was a young team really come together and unite and get ready for each other. We saw them hanging out, training together all offseason. We didn't see that with Rodgers in town. It was all the Rodgers show. It was all about Rodgers drama and Rodgers bitching about this young guy and complaining about this second-year guy or this guy we traded for. This team is really bonded together. So you're going to see resilience come through this team. Yeah, you might knock us around from time to time, but you're going to see these guys pick each other up, and get each other, back on the right page and get it going. This Packers team is much more bonded, much more cohesive than, probably since our Super Bowl run with Rodgers. There's not that split locker room anymore that we've had for the last handful of years.
Got you. Well, my last statement, It all boils down to your offensive-minded coach against my defensive wizard. And Dennis Allen has been a defensive wizard for the last maybe 8 to 10 years. And when I say defensive wizard, he's a mastermind. He beat Tom Brady with no quarterback.
Yeah.
And I mean, he beat Tom Brady, and we had no quarterback twice. So all I'm saying is I understand about the excitement that surrounds your team and the camaraderie that you guys are developing. However, you do understand that you're going against a defensive-minded team. And with a defensive-minded team, that stresses the offense, because the last few teams that we've played have all been pounding offensive-minded coaches. Well, at least they thought they were, until they played the Saints. You guys have played the Titans before. You know what the Titans can do.
Yeah.
However, we made the Titans look pedestrian from the defensive perspective. And don't think for 1 minute that can't happen again, because that's what we're known for. We're known for taking the obvious and making it look pedestrian. Ask Tom Brady, who had 5 weapons. I'll leave you with that.
All right, right. Appreciate it, brother. J Live, you next, my brother. We got like 8 minutes, family. For Hoodie.
All right, I got you. What's going on with y'all? I appreciate y'all for coming on, man.
Of course.
Yeah, that's really. Now I do have a question for you. Now the Saints in it with our defense, bro. Our secondary is our strong point. So I guess my question to you is, as far as the Packers, like if you had to put a ratio on it, like how much do they run between running and passing?
They're running more right now. They've played a little more conservative. I would say it's 60-40. I don't have the snaps on it, but
but just as far as feeling, just the old fan feeling is enough. About 60-40?
60-40, yeah, I'd say.
Okay, and as far as the wide receivers that's on your team, and who are y'all high on? Like who's the number one and who's like an emerging star that y'all have, that's someone that you're high on?
Yeah. So we'll see if Watson goes. He's kind of our number one. He can really stretch the field. Otherwise, this can be Romeo Doubs, right? A second-year guy. He's got a lot of chemistry with Love. We got Jaden Reed, who's our emerging star, right? He's a rookie. He goes up, for being under 6 feet. He really attacks the ball, at the highest point. And the moment Reed gets his hands on the ball, he turns into playmaker.
Is he a burner?
Playmaker, but I would say so. I mean, he
punt
can.
Returner. He's our punt returner. He can burn.
All right. So I guess so far this year, y'all been pretty satisfied with y'all passing game.
Yeah. And then you got Musgrave, who's, I know tight end is one of the toughest transitions from college to pro ball, but he's a guy that can, run the seam. He's 6'6". He's got good hands. He runs good routes. He's another guy. He's the guy that I'm hoping kind of explodes this game. Because like you said, right, those wide receivers might not be getting open as often, but Musgrave, man, just be careful. He's a star in the making.
Yeah, and looking at how we have Marcus May, how he got suspended, I'm pretty sure, Green Bay takes notice of that also.
Yep.
So I think he's definitely going to get tested a time or two. But that's if Dennis Allen even puts him in that position. Because he might just have it where Tyrann Mathieu is playing more of a deep safety role and have him playing more in the box. So, but hey, maybe he has to get his feet wet. But we're pretty excited about that young man. Like I really don't think it's gonna be that much of a drop off. Howden's a good player, man. I went back and watched him.
Yeah, he played at Minnesota. Minnesota's had a really good defense. As people in Wisconsin, we've seen a lot of the Gophers defense. They have a great defense that they've ran for a while. So but it's their first game. It's on the road. I think if they see an opportunity to test them, they'll take a shot.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Jake.
Well, that's about all I have, man.
Appreciate you.
But I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for all the insight tonight.
Hurricane Mike, you got 1 minute, my brother. We running low. I'm sorry, bro. We got 1 minute. Then we got Eric Wallace. Go ahead, Mike. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
There you go. Floor is yours.
All right. So I'm gonna give you the short. I was looking back at our history, and the last time we played a Week 3 game was back in 2020. And I know y'all don't got Alvin Kamara to break 700 tackles on y'all again, but and I know both teams look completely different. But my question to you is, we have 2 All-Pro receivers for the future, right? We got Michael Thomas and we got Chris Olave, and we have good tight ends. And you can argue that Rashid Shaheed is coming along, and A.T. Perry, boy, that's our emerging star. Like, Jair, if he gets Olave or Thomas, who do you think's going to guard the Batman 2.0? Or who do you think's going to lock up the deep threat for Shaheed? Because he's a great kick returner. He may not have, like, the great kick returning stats, but that man is fast. That man be shaking people out of their legs, bro. So what's your game plan for when Michael Thomas and Chris Olave go up against each other, against your corners or safeties? What's your game plan?
I'll try. I'll be very quick. It's Olave and Jair because they have about the same size. Rasul's a little bigger. Rasul Douglas a little bigger, so about 6'2". So that'll be that. And then Nixon versus Shaheed. That's our slot corner, Keshawn Nixon. He's also our kick returner, led the league in kick return yards last year. So they can match up all right with it. It's gonna be an awesome matchup between the corners and the wide receivers.
100%.
All right. Yep.
Oh, Dolphin, I'm mute.
Off. Nobody can hear you.
Now you can. Here we go.
There you go.
Yes.
Quick.
Thank God.
If you put your number 2 or number 3 DB on Michael Thomas, I'm sorry.
It's gonna be a long day.
It's not happening. If you got to put Jair on Olave, Shaheed's gonna eat, and we haven't even touched the surface of Jawan Johnson. And I keep telling you, the X factor is Taysom Hill. So listen, like you say, it's going to be a wonderful contest, a wonderful matchup. Once again, I want to thank you guys for being here. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you guys keep saying you're going to cook, and you've scored, it's like 16 points and 20 points so far in the year. I get where you're coming from. The guys you have are so talented, but I don't see it in the points yet this season. So I get it. It could happen. I could be eating my own words this weekend, but I just haven't seen it yet.
Give it time.
Let me ask you this: how many yards did the Falcons rush for against the Packers?
I know it was way more than I would like to see, but I don't see Kamara or
anybody else notable.
But we got Taysom Hill. Like I say, Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill's gonna rush for 100 yards.
Listen, Kendre Miller will make it this week. His NFL debut this week, and
my backup.
He's going to have a good game. The kid's excited. Listen, I can't wait for this game. Shouts out to Packer Nation again. I want to thank Tapping the Keg for coming through, man. Thank you, my brother, for being here.
Thank you.
Bernie, thank you for being here. And again, you guys are family. You're always welcome here. Look forward to this game Sunday, man. And Bernie, will you be doing the game live this Sunday?
No, we got another Packer crew that's going to be doing it live this weekend. I do a pregame show. My Big Cheese Sports is the hour leading up to the game. I just want to give a special shout out to Who Dat Nation. Thanks for having us. You guys know your ball, you know your stuff. I love it. This was a great experience. Thanks.
See you on Sunday.
Me. And it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one, Mike.
We'll have some fun. It'll be a good time.
It'll be a good time.
Don't cry when we beat y'all by 30.
I got to get out of here. Shouts out to the birthday boy. He's up next. Shout out to the one and only Hoodie Juby. I'm Dog 17, and this has been the Keeping It Real Who That Sports podcast. Woo. See you later, family. We out. Keeping It Real Who That Sports pod. Legendary Coach Rod. Dog 17. Let's rock. Who that? Boss kick. Black and gold. Let's go. First and goal from the one. Best believe we go punch. Punching in, get them punch. With them Saints, watch us march. Down the field, down your throat. Keeping it real, who the sports. Breaking news, interviews. Open lines just for you. Call in, join in. Pale Nation, just win. B.I. Mount Zion.